Hello and welcome. We're back for another round of cocktails and crashes, back by popular demand. Tonight, we'll be drinking a Bruto Negroni, touched with, garnished with a CBD orange bitters. We'll see how I fare with it tonight. But I can tell you it is absolutely delicious. So, what the hell are we doing, right? First off, let's get some nice background noise going. Uh, One moment. Ah, yeah. There it is. DJ Codemasters on the tracks. Don't miss out. So one thing I was thinking could be a fun place to start. Oh, excuse me. I fell into a fun and interesting project right before this, which was restoring the trunk of my Mercedes 240D. I don't think I ever figured that that would be an activity that I would delve into, but it was actually wildly rewarding, especially finding about a gallon of pea gravel in various areas back there. So remember, when doing work on a rolling restoration of a W123 Mercedes, always check that the factory pea gravel is removed. um, yeah, that was a random discovery. Glad I found it. Glad I got rid of it. And now for this. We can, so time trial, obviously Australia is the talk of the town for everybody. We all know this. We're hot in the middle of the TRC Group B Championship. Pardon me. Um, as I said this morning, I did my first 6 stages. It was off to a most thankfully pretty good start, which I appreciate. And we'll see tomorrow how it continues. So let's give Australia a bit of a break. Where to go next? Okay, so the main thing actually, well, I believe we're off to let's give Wales a shot because we're gonna be driving some Group B cars. Still, just you wait. It's gonna be great. Uh, Everyone's excited. I feel it. I like it. I appreciate it. We'll do that. Now Wales. Let's be real. So I wanted to kind of talk through sort of actually there's interesting history, interesting technical nitty gritty with these past monsters. Starting with, I mean, kind of go chronologically, so, but these are of different classes, which is kind of a shame. They didn't used to be. Let's start there. It was just the Group B. Excuse me. And there wasn't discernment of all-wheel drive versus rear-wheel drive because actually all-wheel drive did not exist yet. It wasn't until the Audi Quattro was the first to bring all-wheel drive to a successful race platform. And very interesting, actually, was derived from a military tractor, developed, of course, by, I believe it might be Ferdinand Porsche. Definitely a Porsche. I get the family first names a bit mixed up, so excuse me, Porsche family. I know you're listening in. I'll make amends. Maybe about driving this. But I digress. So this is the first car to bring all-wheel drive to motorsport. It definitely was not particularly. It wasn't perfect, but it did work. And then, of course, now we have rally racing as it is today. And not only rally racing, there was other attempts. I guess. All right, excuse me. I am wrong to say it was the first. It was the first in rally. First, kind of, I guess, actually, in first, really, to then bring it forward for like that of a sports sedan kind of platform, because we did have Lotus was working with, it might be another team, but I know Lotus was developing and playing with all-wheel drive platforms in Formula One, and definitely an edgy Indy 500. It didn't. necessarily succeed. Um, for those who are more familiar than I am, by all means, write in. We'll talk about it. It'll be great. But so anyway, that's not quite that's not where we're going. So um, initially, it was this. This was the daddy. if that's if that's a signal of power to you, that's weird. I've never actually said that. This was the king of the Group B was the Lancia 037, which also in itself was an absolute. Anyway, anyone to have piloted was insane. Again, the thing is made of tiny plastic straws wrapped in tinfoil, basically. Or, I mean, obviously the fiberglass equivalent of maybe Kevlar. I don't know if Kevlar was quite there yet. But it was untouchable in itself. I'm not again not too familiar with the exacting exploits of the BMW N1 Pro car in rally. I can tell you actually that again, there's a wonderful. We've talked about it a little bit in the past, but a wonderful history story on this. In the initially developed by Lamborghini. Well, BMW came to Lamborghini to make a sports car. Lamborghini went bust. BMW had to break in and take the molds and all that kind of stuff, and to make then put their car together. And so came out with a very good, a very interesting sports car. To say interesting because it really was actually the precursor to the Acura NSX in terms of a user-friendly, all-around supercar, as opposed to at the time you take it for granted that supercars are tough and difficult and kind of harsh and hard to experience, and that was kind of the deal. There was also that was it the Maserati Bora. I keep contradicting myself, don't I? Don't worry about it. It's fun. We're having a great time. I'll smooth myself out a little further. That's the stuff. So one we can actually look that maybe perhaps it actually might be a bad thing. Sports cars should be tough. Sports cars should kind of they should kind of make you sweat a bit. Sports cars aren't GT cars. You should be kind of granted merit that you are able to drive that sports car, as opposed to, I mean, heck, I'm well aware of the Lotus Evora. I mean, as long as you can drive stick, anyone can drive that car. That's not really a big supercar. I get that, but I just happen to know how easy it is to drive those. um, Better yet, Lamborghini would be a better example of again the Countach. God, you had. I mean, this is purely from reading. I've gotten to ride in a Countach, but I have not driven one yet. Feel free to write in. We'll work it out. But Lamborghini was very much. I mean, that talk about just a badge of honor to be able to be heaving those huge beasts of a Lamborghini around, especially narrow little Italian streets, which probably not many of those were done so, but even around America, of course, like most are sold here. Whereas now, heck, Aventador, heck, Murcielago, you hop in, turn the key, and away you go. Most of them are even just automatic. I think Murcielago initially didn't start as automatic. That's good. But nowadays, yeah, Fabio Vettel, F1, blah, 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 well, E-gear in terms of Lamborghini gearboxes, but stupid stuff. Nevertheless, let's get more into the meat of then the actual bones of the Group B. We can touch on really quickly. This was the 934 by Porsche, or at least Porsche was developing that, which was called the 934. Here, of course, we have a 911 SCRS. So I don't know truly if Codemasters brought forward the car that Porsche had developed and had entered. And I believe it was in Group B at the time, but I know it was very late. It was very heavy. It was very unsuccessful. That was kind of it. Not really much to talk on or touch on when it came to Porsche's endeavors with the Group B, because they, of course, were developing the 959 along with Ferrari and the F40, or I guess 288 GTO, but ultimately F40, I believe. Jaguar and their XJ220, excuse me. That was to be a Group B car initially as well. There was actually a good few of these kind of precursor hypercars that the Group B was granting us. It's pretty amazing. So as I said, Audi was the first to bring in all-wheel drive. And in their first season, they did not actually win. But it was fair to say that clearly all-wheel drive was here to stay. Lancia did manage. So that's kind of, to me, it's always incredible that they won their last world championship with the 037 in that gray area between all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. So technically it beat out an all-wheel drive car, the initial Audi. Granted, Lancia had lots of tomfoolery and trickery, and if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough mentality. And so they wiggled their way into the lead. And they had Walter Rojo. They had the drivers, the pilots, may I believe Henry Mikkola? Don't quote me on that. Henry Mikkola, I know, did drive for Lancia after in the subsequent seasons. Whereas, because Roll went actually on to drive for Audi, I think he's actually most now noteworthy for. But that's basically season one, or let's say season two. Season one was the 037. Point. I don't know why I'm pointing. It makes it. I'm looking at my TV screen right in front of me. I guess everything technically is down around here, but I'm not a newscaster, so I don't know. We'll carry on. Season two was dominated by the Audi. It was untouched. But then you have the Peugeot was coming in. Peugeot got it. And for those Ferrari fans out there, especially of the, what do you call it, Michael Schumacher era, I think, as I've touched on again in past videos, Jan Todd, the team principal for Ferrari with Michael Schumacher, was brought in, obviously this is ahead of time, before that, was brought in to Peugeot, and I forgot where he was coming in from. That's not important then. But he was brought in to then develop their rally program, develop Peugeot's rally program. So he came from Peugeot and then went into Ferrari. Clearly the gentleman knows how to put a good car together, knows how to put a good team who can put a good car together. So they developed this. And this truly was the car to beat. Audi managed to just put their stamp on rally, on motorsport, but really, I mean, they haven't been in rally since the Quattro. Not truly, not successfully. And so really it was being dominated by Peugeot, and with the driver Ari Vatanen, a definite hero of mine, a great philosopher, actually. You can learn a lot of things by kind of reading what he has to say. But so Ari Vatanen with Peugeot was more of Colin McRae kind of figure in the sake of checkers or wreckers. The guy drove his ass off. The guy hit the track to fly. Didn't always finish his rallies. Did actually end up having one really bad. I forgot which season it was, if it was the second. Or anyway, had one really bad accident, which actually he broke his back. Thankfully survived. I believe his co-driver, we'll say his co-driver, I think possibly survived as well. But so it was between these two cars truly were the backbone of Group B again, but everyone was chasing this. I mean, coming in with mid-engined, it was basically half of then, because I was thinking Renault. I was always thinking actually this was half of an F1 engine in this. That would not be the case because Peugeot did not have an F1 program at the time. Excuse me. I didn't even need to say that, but now you know where my brain was. Welcome to that. Anyway, it was just a more advanced car. Far more advanced car. Even if you drive, you put them next to each other, you drive it in the game, you can tell. You can just tell it's more nimble, it's more adjustable, all that, versus this is far more brutish. It's a battering ram. You point it in a direction, and it shoots there like a bullet, and you're good. But you've got to do a whole lot of work to bring it on down and to get it rotated to go the next way. Because Audi, again, it was still old technology as it be, where the engine was actually almost sitting in front of its front axle. Horrible weight distribution. It was a bad platform, frankly. And then we have truly, so it's not exactly chronological, and truly, and we can go with the right livery just to kind of keep us all in check. So then you have, let's move over to then Ford and MG. were both actually kind of outliers, in a sense, especially MG. Who the hell are they? What the hell did they do? They didn't hit many headlines, I can tell you that much. But Ford, this car was designed, as I think I've mentioned in the past, designed by Tony Southgate, whom nobody really knows, and I don't even know why I know that. The Tony Southgate was a noteworthy race car designer of his time, working within the Can-Am with the Shadow DN something or other with the Shadow Can-Am team. Ideally, then the Shadow F1 team, I would hope at that time. And then ultimately went on again. So if you're like a hipster that I am, and you're a fan of the Group C prototype racing of the 80s and early 90s, he also then developed Jaguar's prototype sports car racers. They're the XJR 12. I always get the numbers mixed up, but anyway, that's a really awesome V12 monster that I'll always love. But so he then partnered with Ford to at the time, as Group B was clearly looking like something, to develop this, which I think is actually probably one of the best looking of. It is the best looking of all the Group B cars. Yes, it's down here. Yes, I'm falling for the Lancia quite a bit because it's treating me very well in our championship. But the Ford, I wish I knew better. I should remember better of its exacting development, as I've read about Tony Southgate, as I myself am a designer, and I thought that that's what I was going to be. I wanted to be Tony Southgate because I came across an article at one point during college. I didn't realize there's a difference of design engineer versus designer and design engineer. Oops. So check your facts whenever you're chasing on a job hunt. Let me tell you. Nevertheless, it's an interesting car. He moved the radiator and such overhead. I think it did end up making it a bit clumsy. It's not the lightest of car. I think the weight distribution isn't exacting, but it is very sleek and svelte and cool and sporty. So well done there, Tony. Unfortunately, this car kind of acquired the first moniker of the demise of the Group B. Well, it is kind of crazy. I mean, here we're talking about this, right? We're talking as if this was just the entirety of the past. Group B racing was just a one grain of sand in the hourglass of the history of the world, history of modern society. It was only like, I'll round up and say 4 years. I don't think that. I think it was no more than 3 years, which is insane again. Like just how much momentum it instantly acquired because of this kind of open, relatively open regulation. In the case then too of allowing evolutions, where you develop your you build your chassis and then you develop it on and on. That's why we have the insane Audi, as it looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando. But nevertheless, it was I believe the Portugal. I think I forgot. I think it was a tarmac rally. I think maybe a lot more were, but it was, I think, Rally Portugal, where an accident occurred. People that frankly shouldn't have been there. We won't get to get into it, but nevertheless, I believe it killed a number of people, wrecking off into people's bed. Obviously, there's a lot. It's a shame that, of course, the weight falls on the shoulders of the car. In that, I mean, heck, who stands on the outside of a turn to begin with? I mean, like, toes on the tarmac, for God's sakes. Yeah, like there's also other just insane stories from Group B where, I mean, mechanics would kind of be almost like fainting around the cars, and there would be digits and such stuck in the cars. People, because it was like a machismo thing. It was a badge of honor for fans to touch, to feel the cars as they whipped by at race pace. Where then they're missing things. Things get stuck in the parting lines. Holy God. And again, you hear stories again, so from Walter Roll just saying that, yeah, it's just a sea of just knees, people. Like, you're using people. I think it was actually Michelle Mouton, uh, by far the most successful female racer ever, an absolute hero of mine, of like with any. Michelle Mouton, I believe she's mentioned that she'd be using people as braking markers. Not to, they weren't braking, but you know what I mean. Crazy. You watch YouTube videos, and it's just people. That's all, right? Here we're going, oh god, trees. Those weren't trees back then. Those were squishy things with two legs that were really excited to be there for no good reason. This really was F1 now. Thanks to Drive to Survive and all that. These days, the insane fandom of Formula One, the Group B had this insane explosion. And there was no regulation around the people around the tracks and all this kind of stuff. And that's what made it dangerous. It wasn't yes, of course, the cars went from 150 horsepower to all of a sudden 450 horsepower kind of in no time. And you had, so that's the main problem is, like, so with the kind of red mark on the Ford here, it was not one of the premier drivers. It was not a factory pro driver. It was a paid driver who was in there that stated he had the experience where he did not actually truly have the experience per se. It was a privateer team. Things aren't fair. And moving on to then the MG. I don't know too much about this car. I do know that it's in a lot of video games. It's very accessible, apparently. I got to see one actually move for the first time. Actually, my first Group B car move last weekend. It was fun. It's very exciting. Engine sounds great. This car was developed by Williams, the F1 team, by Patrick Head and Frank Williams, of course. And actually, they were pulling. I think so. Ayrton Senna was coming into the team at this point, and he even actually did a test in one of these. Could you imagine that, having Ayrton Senna on the dirt? That'd have been pretty interesting. It'd have been a shame that he'd have been in an MG Metro. Clearly not that good, but MG, it was a 10 million, we'll say dollar project. It was 10 million pounds. It was British currency, so we could say, it was a $20 million project. Which this is, they have a year, they don't. This is roughly 1987. Yes, I had my financial discussions in my previous video today, but I am not on it as to what that would mean for inflation right now. But holy God, that'd be a buck ton of money right now to be developed into just a runt. Look at that thing. It's a weird little square gremlin. It is fun though. It does sound great. I assume it has to be basically an F1 derived V6. I'd assume Cosworth, but I'm making that up entirely. I don't know who the engine is exactly by Rover, maybe, but yeah, the engine is awesome. I think it's the best part of the car. It's crazy short wheelbase. It's weird aero. It is fun to drive. It's just definitely not competitive compared to if anyone can drive any of these other cars. But nevertheless, this is probably right here, right? 10 or is there 10 million $10 million invested into that thing. Whoops. So let's then move on to the last and certainly not least. Take a drink to it too here. The Lancia Delta S4. Now this thing this was the last year of the Group B when this came out. Lancia was, they won the World Championship with the 037 previously. I had to have been at least a season ago, and so I think Peugeot definitely had to have won at this point. And so Lancia was still campaigning the 037. Yeah, that's where definitely Henry Mikola was basically kind of stuck dealing with very far in the back. There just was no competition, except for on tarmac. It was definitely still very fast on tarmac. But then Lancia unveils the Delta S4. And this is at a time when these are technically supposed to be road cars. These are supposed to be turnkey. It's a family hatchback. It's supposed to be that, right? The most just thinly disguised like Group 5. I don't know if you're a race hipster like I am. Group 5. Look into Group 5 racing. That is the kind of most like the epitome of um, saloon GT touring car, whatever you want to kind of deem it. But this was basically that. It was just short of like a tube frame chassis with just a thin body over it, calling itself a family hatchback. Mid-engined, obviously all-wheel drive, and as we see here, twin-charged. Everything else, of course, big, beefy supercharger, turbochargers, I should say. MG trying to be all engine, NA. Whoops. But here we've got supercharger and turbocharging. So cool. It's the epitome of the group. The Group E is just, snort a line of white powder and see what happens kind of deal. This defines the Group B. Just let's just throw everything. What else? What else can we do? It had the best aerodynamics. It's the lightest. It was the most advanced. It was untouchable. It was piloted by I forgot Toivonen is his last name. I'm very sorry, I forgot his first. Henry Toivonen, potentially another Finn, but a kid at the time, and it was an absolute rocket ship. The championship was absolutely his. There was just no touching. Or even you'd hear stories from Walter Rohal. Making sure I wasn't on mute that entire time. I got self-conscious. Walter Rohal say just basically come to him tell him slow, you gotta slow down. You're getting it's too fast. It's too insane. Which, yeah, I get that. Unfortunately, this then truly was the last straw in the saga of Group B Rally, where Toivonen, I believe it was in Monte Carlo. It was actually he was sick. He was under the weather. It might have it couldn't have been the debut, but anyway, the car was just it was a rocket ship. As I said, it was untouchable. Peugeot were racking their brains. They had the car. Now they're in the dust. Toivonen was flying, and where you had then the greats, the legends coming to him, be like, just ease up. And sure enough, at one point, he flies off on a cliff turn in Monte Carlo. The car ignites, basically, car kind of melts into a puddle. I think, that's where the drivers were sitting on the fuel tanks were under the seats. And everything is all just the thinnest of fiberglass or Kevlar. I think it was definitely Kevlar in the dashboard we can see on this. I forgot the exact construction. But Lancia was definitely more keen on the faster, the best, the faster and the best car, not necessarily the strongest of cars. Very Lotus-esque in that regard. I could ramble on that tangent, but I'll hold myself back there. Nevertheless, this will kind of always hold that place as kind of the epitome of a rally car. Yeah, today I think their cars are definitely faster. They've got far better aero, far just more efficient systems, grip, and all those kind of things. And this is not perfect. Just keep doing that. Keep pointing towards my TV in front of me. It's not perfect in today's standards, but for what was put into it, how it was able to be developed, the energy around it, I honestly don't think it can be touched in this day and age. So it is the crown jewel of the Group B. So there's obviously a reason why I didn't want to do this presentation at the beginning of the championship. Sorry, fellow racers. Personally, I didn't want it to be a Delta S4 spec race. Since we all can choose it and I'll do it, and yeah, why not? But ideally, because I was really hoping, because in the TRC rally, we're not pro drivers. I especially am not. And so truly, because like I know, so I'm seeing in Australia right now, we have Dunky Pete, who has, hats off to him in his current, what do you call it, performance. Excuse me. He's piloting the Audi superbly. I can see again, like when he's on pace, I'm pushing my ass off to stay ahead of him. And then you have other people in other cars. I believe at the beginning of the rally, we had definitely in Finland and in the U.S. What's his name? Funky Cactus. Great name, by the way. I appreciate that. I like it a lot. Funky Cactus, who's rocking the Ford. And same kind of thing. Also, he's fast as hell. I know, I think more, maybe more than just, he's a very fast driver as it is. And so it's fun to see that in the Ford. Obviously, the Peugeot would be great to see, but like that, it's the fastest chassis, or not the fastest chassis, but it easily could be kind of like with our general driving level as a group. These two cars, the Lancia and the Peugeot, should be kind of neck and neck. The only problem again with the Peugeot is it doesn't have then a supercharger on top of it, because obviously the whole point, the design reason for supercharging and turbocharging, of course, is a supercharger has no lag. Supercharger is instant power. It's as if you've increased the displacement of your engine. And so that's just instant, right? Versus then a turbocharger builds and carries up and then pulls on into that insane, amazing horsepower. And so the supercharger gets you out of the turn and the turbocharger carries you down the straightaways. Whereas the Peugeot carries you down the straightaways very, very fast. It's got 480 horsepower and weighs next to nothing. But it's a huge turbocharger as it would feel. And so if you're in the wrong gear coming out of that turn, you're out. You're going to lose. You've lost a second right there. So you practice when I've played with this car, so you can just feel just how much your pace that I'm losing just from not knowing that car exactly. But you really have to know how to float it through a turn, carry on, and build the boost, and then shoot out. As opposed to, heck, even my ability is just diving into a turn, grinding the wheels almost to a halt, and getting it rotated, and then pushing it, and then shooting out of the turn as it be. Which then you're waiting for your turbo to spool the whole time, especially in that car. And much the same for the Audi. Wow, that went quickly. Okay, so from here, let's refill my cup with something a little more hydrating. Shame on me, I know. But we'll see. We'll all see the Negroni come to play in a moment. Okay, a little snack. Excuse that. What do we do? What are we into? All right, so we are in Wales. Let's try. Again, the Ford is actually always one of my favorites. As I really, I've got a soft spot because it looks like a K car from Japan, AutoZam AZ1. Clearly, someone was a fan at Mazda who designed it, because you look at the Mazda Speed body kit on it. Anyway, so I have one of those cars. That's why it's a soft spot for me. Of it's like a full-blooded AutoZam. The Audi does make fun and interesting noises. We're gonna keep it mid-engined. This is actually a really great practice car. I do say it's not the most competitive, but at the same time, to be competitive, as the old adage, which apparently Enzo Ferrari gets to own this one, is to finish first. First, you must finish. So this truly a lot more, I think, of our drivers in TRC should actually be working on this. The big actually problem, though, you've got to know how to tune out the instability. It's being a very short wheelbase. I think it requires a lot of toe in, A lot of it is just aiding swing because once the tires start to wear, your ends are switching around, and if you're not ready in the braking zones, you're around. The rotation is amazing, but with amazing rotation comes easy spinning, and so it's a shame. But anyway, it being a naturally aspirated engine, the car is a lot. It's generally more friendly. It's not just going to explode and snap in your face and shoot you off in some weird direction. And so, I wish that a few more people in our group gave into it. I get it. I mean, you gotta even flogging that thing. I've seen it's not the most competitive regardless, but we'd have I think a lot more people finishing in a lot higher positions if they spent a little time if they spent time with the car. That's another big factor of any of these cars, and any sim. When you're hanging out and you can just do this one or that one, and just I want to try that, try that, try that. That's awesome. That's I mean, heck, that's what I'm. The car guy that I am. That's what I'm doing. But to truly be at your best and to be at your most competitive, you've got to just sit with something. Pardon me. You've got to sit with it. You got to understand its language. You got to see how it is. What you got to see what it wants. Number one, as I've mentioned, number one is gear ratio, and so just to understand how to keep it in its most, in its power the most time versus just oh shoot too short or oh shoot too high. And then comes down to the chassis. Then comes down to understanding how to check it in and all those kind of things. And so that takes time. You can't just go from one to the next, the next, the next, and just want to be better and faster and something that enables you to do your skills, as some might say. Never, don't say that. I'm hanging out on the Ford. I haven't driven the Ford in a while. Let's try the Ford. I'm into it. You're into it. Let's do this. We'll run with that factory livery there. I like it. I need to refill this. No, this is water right now. Shame on me. Actually, yeah. One moment. Be right back. Holy hell. Been talking for so long. I forgot that we do this wet. Whoops. So, let's try softs. Softs definitely with these kind of seeing aren't actually always the best tire, especially back in Australia. It's almost so. I think the ground is so coarse that soft tires just shred instantly. Where I'm finding you find much better pace of just a sturdier tire. I think this is cool enough, especially being in the wet. I don't question. All right, so again, we're gonna do little things. We're gonna tap this up a little bit. Toe. A lot of kind of turn in actions. We're gonna do that. I will say the Ford. So one thing I've noticed just in my driving, I think the Ford actually has the most advanced differentials. It's obviously very minimal. But yes, it's interesting. They went with all viscous differentials as opposed to clutch types, which is in the rest of the cars. All the accelerate, decelerate, all that kind of stuff with all the others. But in like the really tight hairpiny kind of stuff, the Ford actually drives, I think, most close to that of a modern car, modern rally car. In the sake of you turn the car and it just grips and just shoots in the direction that you're going, as opposed to with the other Group E cars. It's a lot of really shifting the weight, working getting the car rotated around, and then sure they kind of starts working with you, but you have to kind of lay out that path ahead before it helps you along, before it comes along with you. So anyway, say torque bias 50 is probably fine. Let's do that a little bit. So it is very bumpy and jumpy. Might as well. All right. Let's hit it. Let's do this. What are we here for? Oh, racing. Let's go racing. Let's just go fast, right? It's you and me. All of you. It's great. I do love the sound of it. God, I love the sound of these cars. They're just so real and raw. Anyway. As he watches, I just instantly bin it.
5.
It's very possible.
4, 3,
There'll be a lot of restarts.
2, 1, go. 6 left of a crest long, 40. 6 right of a dip, 80. 6 left long of a crest, into 5 right of a crest.
Something
and
else.
5 left long,
yes.
to keep left of a crest, into 5 right.
Want to
40. Keep
Ever
right
so
of a crest,
slightly.
120. 6 right, very long
Don't
of a
touch
dip,
the muddy curb wall
into
thing.
4 left of a crest. Keep left of a 260 over crests, to dip.
Now, after my warm-up here, that was great. Now we do it. Now we're getting into it.
5,
Like it.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. 6 left of a crest long, 40. 6 right of a dip, 80. 6 left long of a crest, into 5 right of a crest,
Oh,
and 5 left long, keep left of a crest, into 5 right. 40. Keep right of a crest, 120. 6 right, very long of a dip, into 4 left of a crest. Keep left of a 260 over crests,
That's the
to dip.
stuff.
Into 5 right, opens of a crest and jump, 60.
When in doubt,
6 left, into
Not
5
bad.
right of a crest, and
What
5
in doubt?
left of a dip,
Lift.
keep left of a
All
40,
the way.
5 right long tightens 4 of a crest, 30. 5 right of a crest, into 4 left long, and 4 right long, tightens 2, past logs, 30. 4 left of a crest, into 4 right of a jump, and 4 left long through gate, tightens 2,
Oh, no.
immediate turn, open hairpin right,
Little touch of the e-brake.
160 over bumps,
Technically.
into 6 right of a crest and bump, 90, 6 left of a crest, 60, crest and slow, keep
Oh my
left
God.
of a 30, 2 right narrow camber, and 6 left, 30 of a jump, into 2 left tightens, and 1 right of a crest,
Yes.
opens 50,
Nope. Oh no.
keep left,
Give
into
me
6
boost.
right of a crest, and 5 left of a crest camber, to keep right of a crest, into 4 left long of a dip,
Oh, stay on the flatbed. Yes.
60. Crest and 4 right, very long,
This
tightens
is
2,
going to be a very
through
interesting
posts,
rally as well. God, yeah, I think
opens
awesome.
90.
Australia still is the most
Crest
evil
and
rally
5 left, don't
locations.
cut. To jump,
It is.
60. Flat middle of a big jump, to bump, keep right of a 100 of a crest
Son
and
of a
gate,
bitch.
jump, 60.
There you go.
Crest into 4 left of a crest, bump, extra long, tighten slow, 1.
That's not the one. Get it, get it, get it. There you go. This is the
Opens
one.
of a crest, 60. Crest
Yeah,
and 5 right of a dip,
I just got to turn in more. I'm so used to rear wheel
150
drive
over
cars.
bumps, 4 left of a crest, jump,
At that point,
40,
you're always steering with
5
the
right of a
throttle.
dip, opens, 50 over crest,
All right.
150 through dip,
steer with
3
the
left
tires.
long, don't cut, through posts, 80, 2 left, cut, and 4 right of a crest, opens, 80, 5 right long, over dip and jump, slow 50, open hairpin left. 100. 4 right, very long,
That's
open
much
stop, cut over
nicer
crest, logs,
to remember.
keep left over 100, 4 right, very long,
No,
tightens.
look at the logs. Hey, we're on the track.
Is that a puncture on the left rear?
Oh, that's it. Punctures. All right. Well, that was fun. Now, so that was Group B. Hooray! Yay, Group B. Right? Let's hop into challenges. Screw it. Let's try out the Manta. Wait. Ah. More power. I think makes sense. So, here we go. Gonna be good. I'd say let's start off with the shakedown. Shall we shake it
5,
down?
4, 3, 2, 1, go. 6 left, opens 150.
He's gonna take some.
Caution, slow, don't cut. 6 left, long, 30. Turn unseen, hairpin right. 120.
Yes. No.
6
No,
right long,
damn it.
tightens 5.
I really should be using the e-brake for that.
Into 4 left of a
I
crest
don't know
jump.
why I'm not.
100 of a crest. 4 left long.
Ow.
Slow, keep right over 100. Turn 1 left, don't cut. And sudden, turn 4 right long. Opens of a crest to crest. And 6 left of a crest. Into 6 right of a jump. Caution, keep right of a crest into 4 left. And slow, 4 right long, tightens turn 1, 30. To stop. Well
Yeah. Now, to stay on brand, I'm going to take a break and whip up a new cocktail. Because right now, I'm all sorts of empty. If you will bear with me, which I'd be most appreciative of, I'll be right back. I'm going to do that. Let's keep this cocktaily, shall we? All right. Now, for our round 2, whipped up another Bruto Negroni with a dash of You Really Want to. So, those of you at home playing along, you want to kick your Negronis over whatever it is that one might want to kick them over. Add a dash of Chinar 70 and Centurba. Can't beat it. Granted, Centurba is a good 70% alcohol, so that might be a factor. Now, I am without my CBD bitters. Figure 1 is good enough. My back feels much better. They have done their job. So, car felt great. Let's muck it up a bit, shall we? How is it? I feel like this Sechi, I've already fussed with it. Cool. I'm into it. I'm proud of myself. We're gonna do that instead, though. Keep it a little on its toes. Let's go fast, shall we?
Starts 6 left, opens 150. Good luck.
We got a bit of a hangnail. You see, you might excuse that. Okay. Enough shenanigans. Let's do this. What time is it? It's that time. That's a great time. Onward. Pardon me. Readjust the gentleman pieces. All right. That dude with the ball, but that dude is stoked. Yeah, look at it. Yeah. Woo. I like it. Let's get this.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 6 left,
Try to let go of the e-brake.
150. Caution, slow, don't cut. 6 left long, 30.
That does sound like
Turn
someone
unseen,
kicked a
hairpin right.
beehive. Oh no. Oh yes.
120.
Can we get it? Slightly better.
6 right long, tightens 5. Into 4 left of a crest, jump. 100 of a crests. 4 left long and slow. Keep right over 100, turn 1 left, don't cut.
Lift and coast. Look at that.
And sudden turn, 4
Hard on
right
the
long,
brakes.
opens of a crest, to crest. And 6
Hard
left
up
of a
the
crest. Into 6 right
Wave
over
to the
jump.
photographers.
Caution, keep right of a crest into 4 left. And slow, 4 right long, tightens turn.
Little
1,
dab of brakes.
30. 4 left of a crest.
Yeah.
Into 4 right, very long,
That
tightens.
did look nice.
Into
I'm not going to worry about the
5
time.
left.
Just telling the
Into 4 right,
excited with
tightens
that,
of a crest, jump.
which is most of me.
Opens to crest and 4 left, tightens 3.
Big rock.
Extra long, don't cut of a junction. And
Get it.
6
Look
right
to
of
the
a
right
crest,
tree, that tree.
extra
There
long.
we go.
Into 4 left of a crest, 30. 6 right long, over crest, jump maybe, to crest. Into 5 right, extra long, tightens. Keep middle of a crest and don't cut 4 right. Opens, 80 over crests, and 4 left long, tightens 3
I
of a
don't know
junction.
much about the Opel Manta
50.
400, but actually I just realized something that Colin McRae's father
6 left,
actually raced one of
extra long.
these.
Into
Maybe
4
that's
right
why
long,
it's a game.
into 6 left, extra long of a
Or
crest.
that it is
Opens
just
extra
that
long,
noteworthy and I just don't know things, so could be that.
30. 5 right long, tightens 4. Into 4 left long, past junction. Opens 5 left,
you
extra long of a crest,
bastard.
200. Right of a crest, jump long, tightens.
Give me speed.
Into
No more
5 left long of a
speed.
crest, 40. Turn unseen, 2 right long. Opens 200. Over narrow bridge and past Bales. 20. Turn late, hairpin left around Bale.
Wow.
Into 5 right, extra
Slowed that
long.
down pretty well.
Into cut, 5 left. And 6 right long, water splash, 80.
Hit the water splash this way.
And through narrow gate, 20. Cut, 6 left, 30.
Usually always slow
6
down
right
too
to the
late
crest
for
long,
that, but I did.
80.
I did it well, and I'm proud.
6
of
left,
myself.
extra long, tightens cut 3.
Now here's another one. Can I get it turned
4
in
right of a crest,
nicely? No, I
40.
couldn't.
6 right of a crest.
There we go. Rotated
Into
on
5
the
left,
power.
opens, keep middle of a crest, 80. 6 left, 6 right, very long, over finish, to stop.
Oh no, oh no. Oh, it's all gone wrong. Hey! Okay. I should save that too. That car feels great, actually. That is surprising. Top 10. Just because you're 10th still equals the top 10. So, damn. I was hoping to be fastest American at least. But Cajun KC. Well done to you, fellow sir. Or Winter Bread 76. They seemingly claim that they are of no country. They are of the world, but that's definitely German. I said I don't know how it's spelled. I don't know why they would go with. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I'm gonna stop. That was neat. Let's watch a bit of that, shall we? Let us sit in silence and enjoy my mastery. Okay. Wow. Wow, that drink's got a kick right now. Woo. That was dope. I was really proud of that one. Definitely got a little rocky through here. But then it opens up. This is fun. Great. This car just lifted. You lift and you let it coast through here and you're back on the power. And again, you're on the power, but you lift the second that it feels like things aren't going clear. But then you're back on the power because now it feels right. Same kind of thing, same all through here. Enjoy that. This turn, it's so nice when you can get it, but it's so tough to get it just on the line. That actually was probably one of the closest I've done in a very long time. And in this section as well is all flowing speed. It's fun, but you gotta be on the line, otherwise you go flying off into a stump or something stupid like that. So, yeah, lifting. So it's brilliant. It's a dab of the brakes, and when dabbing of the brakes, we're hard but fast on the brake. We're off nice and smooth. Because actually, I heard a good thing recently. To not get full brake soon is a waste of lap time. It was a great point. And so you jump on it, then you get off, so then the front of the car doesn't pop up on you. Then you're back on it, but you let the car rotate, and you wait. You're patient through the turns. And as long as you're patient, you see a lot of trees in your face. Excuse me. As long as you're patient, that's when the car is going to rotate. You're off all of the pedals. That's how it's going to work. Except for here. Here is a pain in the ass. But anyway, so I think regardless of the car, as controllability goes, what really shifted it for me was the simple realization of lift and coast. If you're struggling with any car, granted, front-wheel drive sucks as it is, so I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just not the fastest at front-wheel drive. By all means, write in. Let's have a good round debate on the beauties of front-wheel drive. Excuse me. That's the Negroni talking. It's very opinionated on its drivetrains, apparently. Let's continue. Where are we continuing? Crap, I hope this is just a single. It's not a single. That sucks. All right, we're going to do this, and then I'm going to get out. Because then we're going to do other things.
Start 6 left, opens over crest,
I've never
into
seen
6
that
right,
light
long
pop.
over
It's
crest.
cool.
Good luck.
Onward. All right, turn it up so I can hear things again.
5,
Let's
4,
race.
3, 2, 1, go. 6 left, opens over crest.
Should have probably
Into
modulated
6 right
the
long
throttle
over
a bit
crest.
there.
Into 6 left,
Whoops.
and 6 right long.
Wow.
Opens over crest.
These lights
50,
are effective.
4 left. Into don't cut 3 right long over crest.
See, hard on the brake.
Keep
hard
right over
on the brakes,
40,
Soft
3
off-ish.
left.
I really wish this was, I think, a big
Into 2 right, very long, past junction.
miss.
Opens
Something
30,
this game is missing is
3 right,
wait,
30,
is display
cut 4 left over crest.
the pedal tracing, throttle and brake trace. Like you get in
Middle over 150,
New area.
caution,
Forward.
4 left over crest,
I believe-
narrow,
shows brake and throttle trace
30,
and clutch.
keep middle over crest, 50,
No, yes.
5 left,
Yeah. Anyway, excuse me.
and
It's a
6
shame.
right,
I would be great to
30,
really show
6 right, opens, keep middle over
exactly
crest,
what we're doing.
into keep right, into 4 left,
It'd be great
150,
to look back and to see what does and doesn't work.
4 right, into slow, 6 left, 30,
Digging
turn
too high of a
unseen,
gear.
1 right,
If you want to go fast,
opens 100, turn
Whoop.
unseen, square left,
jab of the brake, pump the throttle, get it twisted around. I'm gonna be
60,
good.
turn 1 left, opens
Lame.
3 long, sudden turn 2 right, 80, turn
see,
1 right long over double
That's another
junction,
thing too. A lot of people I feel like I talk to so many. They'll go, oh,
opens into 6 left long,
I
tightens,
can't,
turn
I'd love to do
happy
rally. I
left,
can't do rally because I don't have an e-brake. Well, I just haven't gotten
opens
one.
flat over crest long, 30,
Look at this.
6 left,
I don't have an e-brake.
and
I don't
turn
have my
4
hands on
right,
the right now.
40, 6 right over
Excuse me.
crest, slow 50, turn very tight happy left,
You don't need an e-brake. What did
30.
you say? I'd easily say potentially the
4 right
number
long,
one
opens 90,
best thing to learn with driving, in
left
general,
long,
especially with sim
tightens,
racing,
200,
is actually how to shift the car,
flat left over crest, past junction,
how to adjust the
200.
weight transfer of any car off the brake.
slow, turn
In a period,
unseen,
I think
1
it's 7 years
right,
here. Whereas, so
Into 5 left
now,
long,
yes,
opens,
I should have done that. That was
crest.
unnecessary.
into 6 left,
But-
50,
The emergency brake, in my opinion, should be that treated
Jump
like that of
4 right long,
either a condiment,
80,
a strong condiment, like a hot sauce,
crest, into 6 left long, tightens 4,
and I learned so with
to
back
keep
of
middle of a jump,
my
80,
drawing,
turn 3 right,
with my college.
100,
Certain things,
turn unseen, narrow 4
Treat like
left
a
of a
jelly
crest
donut.
jump, opens long,
right? Everyone knows
6
a jelly
left,
donut.
over
Sweet.
double jump,
They're tasty.
into cut, 5 right,
They're enjoyable. But you
to
can't
keep left over crest, and keep
jelly
middle over
donuts.
crest, 50, over finish, cut, 6 left long to stop.
You must use them sparingly for the sake of health. Surprised I made it through that. Excuse me. What I'm trying to say is you want to be able to control. Hey, slow intent. That's great. You want to be able to control the chassis of your car, control your platform purely just as it is with your wheel and your pedals. Almost primarily with your pedals more than your wheel. In the case of lifting, getting the car to rotate, and then catching that rotation with your throttle, and then carrying it through. Then comes the sweet, juicy, heroic power slides and all of that. So the emergency brake, as I say, it should be more. I was kind of thinking like that of a condiment, should be sprinkled on like that of salt or pepper or hot sauce, because I'm a huge pussy when it comes to spice. I love a nice bit of warmth, but too spicy happens quickly for me. So we'll go with hot sauce. Don't worry about jelly donuts. We'll go with hot sauce in the sake of, to me, you dab it. You dab it just so you can still taste the flavor of what it is that you're doing. But you put a little dab because you want that brightness, you want that warmth. And in this regard, for me, for all you naysayers that go, no, you moaners that say, oh, I can't do rally because I don't have an e-brake. Neither, but what you do is you map it. Here we go, observe. You map it to one of your paddles, because generally everyone's wheels got paddles. I guess then the one issue then comes for those of you that do not have a shifter. Shame on you, by the way. Get a shifter. That's legit. It's cars, right? We're here to race cars. Race cars. Clickety clack. That's the stuff. Anyway, sorry. That's then the one blocker is then the issue. The other thing is you do the button thing, but nevertheless, even a button, because I have tried it with the button. Like B button is what it is normally. Excuse me. Anyway, button or paddle. Paddle is the best in my opinion. But what's nice is because then you get that car rotated because you understand how. You've done the practice. You've lifted. You've lifted. The car's rotating, but you see, and here's where then that hot sauce factor is. You see that it's not quite rotating exactly as you want. We're talking milliseconds here, of course. Like that, and then you grab just grab just enough, just to upset the car to get that added rotation, and you're off. And you're still patient. You're seeing, and then you can add the throttle because most likely that's what's going to be necessary right there. But it's all doable. It's also, it can be easy. And I would love to help, even without my Negroni right now. I'm here to help. It's a fun thing. I've worked my ass off to get to to whatever abilities I may have with any of this. This is my love. This is my happy place. Welcome to that. And so all I want is to then share. Welcome to the quick sketch. Anyway, that's good. Never mind. Quick sketch driving school. We'll go with that. All I want is to share for everyone, because everyone can come up to this level. It's there. It's there for anybody. Because this is not any born raw talent bullshit. I hate that. Oh, I can't do it. I wasn't born with it. No, it's because you don't need it. For no reason, because this does not give me anything. For whatever reason, apparently I need this. And for those of you who don't but still want to have a good time, I'm relatively envious of you. Anyway, enough of that bemoaning. Daily challenge completed. What did I complete? Oh yeah, I did that. That was neat. Let's hit Finland. That's monthly. It is fine. Where am I? Let's do some single stages. All right, Subaru and oh god, it's so boring. I hate that. I don't hate is a strong word. Oh, for God's sakes, both. Oh, I thought we had something. All right, well we're gonna do this. We're gonna start with this because this is more interesting. It's got prowess and Nope, I don't want that. Excuse me. Oh. Yeah. Why would anyone choose that over that? If you have an opinion, please write in. You share. All opinions are welcomed in the Quick Sketch Cocktail Hour. Just make sure, another Quick Sketch Cocktail Hour top tip, do not inhale your cocktails. It hurts. I see time is wearing a little thin for a reasonable dinner for myself. And I have to watch Formula One qualifying, right? So, excuse me. Snack time. You gonna do this? Because I've already clicked yes before I look at the time. And then, I'm gonna drive something fun for me. You know what? I've been on kind of a Porsche kick. It's an interesting car, interesting platform. Maybe I should drive the crazy Porsche. Yeah. But where is the real question? Anyway, who did that? Around. It'll be great. So, anyway. Maybe actually Monte Carlo. That could be kind of fun. It's strange. Nevertheless. Let's see what we got here. Loose. Always stay.
Five,
Always stay loose.
4, 3, 2, 1, go. 100 through dip, unflagged, right of a crest, 80. 4 left of a crest, and jump, 200. Keep right of a big jump, 60. Keep middle of a long crest, 50.
These cars
6
are
left,
very cool.
tightens
This
5
is
long of a
definitely
crest,
another,
50.
I'd say
6 right of a crest long. Into 6 left long, 50, crest, and keep right of a crest, into 5 right, very long, 50, keep left of a jump, 80, dip, and keep left of a big jump, 80, 6 right long of a crest, 60.
Yes, we're alive.
To stop, well done.
That way escape. That's so great. Okay. Want to be somewhat considerate to my liver? Oops, this turned off. Oh yeah, I'll also be needing to feed Cosworth, the cat. Nevertheless. So, a few things are going to be obvious. It could definitely, and I'm sure I could be doing more, but the car was very stable, so I probably just destabilized it with that. Then up that a smidge. We're going to leave that. It's a lot. So Finland is wildly fast. I'm trying to think of things. I'm sure it's fine. I think it's so I have noticed. So yes, we can lengthen out the gears and get greater top speed. And there was a moment where I was very much figuring speed wins. But I was noticing this as a thing I had learned. That's not the case. Acceleration wins. Because who cares if your car can touch, let's go 170 miles an hour. But if you can only get there once, and even doing so, you now are terrified and you brake very early and get out of 170 miles an hour very quickly, versus someone that can do 150 miles an hour, but you can do 150 miles an hour twice, right? And is braking later because it's just they're already bumping against the limits of the car and all that kind of stuff. That person is flying ahead of you. What am I doing? We can spread it out. We'll spread it out a little bit. But nevertheless, getting up to speed even if that speed is 100 miles an hour. If you do 100 miles an hour everywhere, you're a whole lot faster than a top speed car that is loping at 80 miles an hour average. That's what the average is. There it is. It's about the averages, everybody. Now you know. Welcome to that understanding. So we're going to pump this up, as I say. Yeah, should be fine. When the car feels good, trust as the car feels good to just keep it as is. Also, so it's really fun seeing the hood up. Look at that exhaust. Is that the exhaust? I guess it'd be there. Is that the exhaust manifold that's like bending up and over? That's awesome. This was a very cool car. Not start. Oh god. I did not mean to start it.
Starts 100 through dip.
It's gonna be fun.
Right over crest 80, 4 left over crest and jump.
Red shirt man. Let's do this. Yeah. Woo. I like it. Oh. You got the lady involved. Everyone's happy.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 100 through dip and flat right over crest 80.
Stages of the power.
4 left over crest and jump 200.
Oh,
keep right of a big jump 60. Keep middle of a long crest 50. 6 left tightens 5 long of a crest 50. 6 right of a crest long into 6 left long 50. Crest and keep right of a crest into 5 right very long 50. Keep left of a jump,
oh,
80.
No. Trees. I'm just looking at. Don't look at trees.
And keep left of a big jump, 80. 6 right long of a crest, 60.
Goes for the
Slow
eyes.
dip to keep left of a crest, 50.
Yep.
Turn square right. Opens 50. 6 right long.
Oh,
and
what?
6 left,
What was
extra
that?
long.
What is this?
Keep
A
right of
car?
80.
Noted. I didn't realize.
Keep middle of a jump,
That
50.
turbocharged.
6 left of a crest, 80. 6 right,
Okay.
tightens of a crest,
yeah.
to keep middle of a crest, 80. Dip,
We'll have to have a break.
and keep middle of a big jump into sudden, 5 left, tightens 4. Opens of a crest, 40.
Nope. Yes.
6 right of a jump long, 100. Early 5 left of a crest, don't cut, 60. 6 right long, tightens of a crest, 200. 6 right long of a crest, into 6 left of a bump crest, 50. Keep middle of a big jump, 80. 5 left of a crest, tightens through dip, 50. Flat right, 60. Caution, 6 right tightens 3. Opens of a crest, 50.
Hard the brakes.
Keep right, 5 left of a big crest jump, 40. 5 left of a crest
Tight.
jump,
Beautiful.
50. 6 left tightens 5
I
of a
love
dip,
that. That's so fun.
and 6 right of a crest long. Into 6
This is
left,
very much
and
back
sudden
to
3
spending
right.
time with
Opens
certain
6
cars.
of a
Now, this,
crest,
of course, it's a
80.
one-time challenge, so I'm not worried about that. Look out for
Flat
the
left.
bushes, damn it.
Keep
So-
right of a 50. 3
You
left
might get
tightens,
really half speed. You can see that. I'm
and
just kind of
6 right of a crest long.
Gears.
50. Keep middle of a crest.
Looking for some
Into
power.
5 right, tightens of a crest and jump.
I'm looking for
80.
saying other words, but
Flat right of a crest, jump long. 50. Crest at 5
That was
left.
awesome.
Extra
I know.
long. Opens of a crest,
I'd say the
100.
first thing
Right
with
of a
upgrading
crest,
any car is
80.
those
Keep middle of a
shift
big jump. Slow 80. Turn 3 right.
Yeah.
Opens 6. extra long of a crest.
We're really
150
In Finland.
of a bumps.
There's
keep
no
middle of
way
a
to
jump.
go
50.
to, second gear. Go
Early
below
5
third.
left of a crest. 60.
Hard on the brakes.
6 right of a crest. Extra long. 200.
Oh.
For finish. Keep middle of a crest to stop.
So,
Well done.
I'm proud of that. That's probably one of the best I've done with this Ford. But I left a lot on the table because I just wasn't quite sure where to be. Especially ever since, what do you call it? Hey, 36. No. Yeah, it's not the greatest. It's the 36. Oh. Dang it. What? That's nuts. Apparently there's something in the water here in America. That's too much. See a bit of that. But obviously, again, this is cocktails and crashes, as we said, and most thankfully, the crashes have been far and few between. That's awesome. I guess it's more cocktails than crashes. Because, yeah. Damn, I do suck these down when we put on this. Anyway. It was at this point that I realized that it was paramount to be up high in the rev range. And so what that led me to do was overactively downshift. And so then overactively downshift cost me speed, frankly, of the cars stuck to whatever the limit of that gear is. So definitely, if I were to be able to go back and do this, I could be faster by being a little more relaxed on the shifting. I'd love to go back to the downshift. It's a lot of fun. Usually I always find, so I have a great time with the car, but I usually always find myself wrapping around trees, or I find all the rocks in any stage. It was fun. It's cool. So, as the time we have it, I'm going to be somewhat respectful of my cat. In feeding him and feeding myself dinner, being that the time is for me here in the West Coast. There's one fun run, as I mentioned, where I think we're going to do a Rally GT Porsche in Monte Carlo. If you've got any ideas, I'd be most happy to hear that. So, by all means, that was a shame. By all means, write in. Let's see. Tell me what stage, what car. It was Argentina. I don't like you. Let's just put it that way. How friendly are we gonna be? We're gonna watch this bit. Yeah, this one's fun. Also, the shifter. I didn't notice the shifter is like this really weird, like it's almost like the tree. It's like as if you turned your grandmother's Ford Taurus into a race car. You forgot. It's the weirdest thing. It's like the swing arm that kind of comes around. Maybe that's just ignorance on my part. Maybe it's a very, very straightforward and obvious mechanism. But I've always thought it very interesting with this Ford Focus rally car. Just thinking of past races, seen it a long time ago on TV. And with McRae and other racing. Superb. I think it was a single stage, right? It should be a single stage. It would appear that it was not a single stage. That sucks. Well,
starts 20, flat right of a crest, 130,
so I would say
turn unseen, 4 left long. Good luck.
I would say, what do you call it? Porsche Monte Carlo has been replaced by Ford Focus in Finland. Why not? Let's go fast. I just want to go fast. You just want to go fast. Let's all go fast.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. 20. Flat right of a crest, 130. Turn unseen for left long.
Boost.
Into 6 right of a crest, 100.
Coast.
Crest, 3 left long, 40.
When in doubt, turn your light.
3 left long,
Oh,
opens of a crest. Into 6 right, 50. 6 left of a jump, 70. 3 right, tightens of a crest, 100. Turn 3 right, keep in of a crest. Opens, 80. 6 right of a crest, jump, 50. Caution, 6 left of a small jump to keep middle of a big jump, 60.
Something else.
Flat right of a crest, extra long.
This is take a lot of patience.
Into crest, 3 left long. Opens,
Where are we?
6. Long of a crest.
Oh, that was
To keep
luck.
flat middle of a crest.
Pure luck.
And jump. And 5 right of a crest long, past junction. 6 left of a
Wait
crest.
for it.
Into 6 right tightens. And keep left of a 50. 6 right of a big crest into turn 6 left. 80. 6 right of a crest in 4 left long. Opens of a crest,
No
50.
stuttering on me, Phil.
Turn 5 right, extra long.
Keep it tight.
Opens 30, 3 right, tightens of a crest. And keep left of a crest. Flat right of a crest.
Rip.
And 6 left, opens of
It
a
just
big
does.
jump. 60,
It does what you want.
flat right of a big jump.
You had what I
Into
wanted,
6
a little
left
slower
long,
than what apparently
opens of
other
a
people
crest.
want.
Into 5 right of a crest.
36 other people.
50. 5 left.
Yes.
Keep in.
Nope.
40.
Gotta hate
5
it.
right. Opens of a jump.
Stitches.
To jump.
Give you
And
stitches.
4 left. Tightens 3 of a crest.
Oh,
Opens. Keep middle of a jump. 40. 5 right. Extra long. Tightens 4. 30. 4 left long. Opens of a big jump.
The rotation is just intuitive.
6 right, tightens of a crest, narrow, and turn late 4 left, extra
Now,
long.
one mustn't do exactly that was gonna happen. Ah, the second I came over that crest, it's like, oh, well, there's gonna be that guardrail. What's no? What's the other return to service area? Or what? Just sit on the course? I am legitimately confused of the option. No, what did I just do? I think I retired, which should also be entirely acceptable. That's a shame. That was fun. Yeah. Holy hell. So anyway, that was great. Minus stabby guardrails. Let's retire. And that's perfect. That's a perfect segue. I know you're sad to say, or sad to see, but I'm afraid that is it for cocktails and crashes. I spent most of the time discussing the histories of the Group B, at least my understanding of the histories of the Group B, so I do hope that was moderately entertaining. Feel free to write in if of what's more interesting, of the talking over the driving. I get it if you're here for the driving, because that's kind of what anyone would tune in for this for, because it's a racing game, not a podcast. So I appreciate you. I'm glad you're here. But with that, I hope to see you next time, and do tune in tomorrow morning for the second round of the TRC Group B Championship, where I will be continuing on my Australia rally from stages 7 to 12. Currently I'm leading, but that means nothing in Australia. So, thank you for being here. Have a good night. I'll catch you later.